Hey fellow writers, in this video I'm going to talk about what's the best way to publish your book. Hi, I'm Rich Blazevich from Self-Publishing Fastlane, and remember to hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos about how to write and self-publish your book. Specifically, what I'm going to cover in this video is what are the different types of publishing methods and which method is best for you. The three main types are traditional publishing, hybrid publishing, and self-publishing. And if you've seen my other videos, you know I'm a huge fan of self-publishing. It's not right for everybody. So I'm going to cover that in this video, and I'm specifically going to show you who should be publishing through traditional, who should consider hybrid publishing, and who might be a good fit for self-publishing. So let's jump into it. First of all, I'm going to cover traditional publishing, which up until about 5 years ago was the main way books got published. But now self-publishing has become more and more popular, as has hybrid publishing. With traditional publishing, you or an agent who works for you pitches your book idea to a publisher. The publisher accepts a small amount of the book ideas submitted. So they don't take all the ideas. As a matter of fact, they take very, very few ideas that they hear, and the publisher takes care of the process of publishing. So they will take a first draft of your book and they'll take care of the editing, they'll format the book, they'll get a book cover, and they'll even do some marketing once they launch your book. And they, most importantly, will make sure your book gets into distribution. Traditional publishing comes with its pros and cons. The biggest pro is the publisher handles the process. So you, as the author, don't have to be heavily involved in the editing and the book covers and everything that needs to happen for your book to get to market. Also, traditional publishers don't charge the author. They're investing in your book and they're investing in you. And if your book makes enough revenue, they make a profit, as do you. Some of the biggest cons are, first of all, the odds are slim that a traditional publisher is going to accept your book. Unless you're famous, unless you have something that's incredibly breakthrough, chances are you're going to get a lot of rejection from traditional publishers. And then one thing that some authors don't like is there is a loss of control. Because the publisher is spending their own money to publish your book, they want to take some control over the editing, the book covers, the details of the book, and you as the author might need to give up some of that control to them. When you look at who should consider traditional publishing, the people who might be the best fit for traditional publishing are people who have established credentials. So if you have millions of followers or millions of fans, or you have some platform that can generate customers for your book, then a publisher might be interested in you. Also, if you're okay with giving up control over some elements of your book, then maybe traditional publishing is okay for you. You should not consider traditional publishing, or at least not commit to it, if you're not willing to wait. I know people who have written books and they've tried to go down the traditional publishing route, and it's taken them years, even decades of pitching their book, and they still haven't found a publisher who's willing to publish it for them. Also, you probably don't want to rely on traditional publishing if you don't want rejection. Traditional publishers, if they get back to you at all, there's a very good chance they'll get back to you with a rejection letter saying, hey, thanks for submitting your book, but we're not going to publish it. One alternative to traditional publishing is hybrid publishing. And with hybrid publishing, you pay the publisher to publish your book for you, and they take care of whatever you pay them to take care of. So you can pay a hybrid publisher to get your book edited, to get a book cover made, to do the formatting, to get distribution, to market the book, whatever you want. If you pay them enough, they will do it for you. Now, one of the big issues is there's a lot of variability on the quality and the ethics of hybrid publishers. There's some really good hybrid publishing companies that will provide very good services. There are also hybrid publishers who will take your money and they won't deliver on the services that they promise you. Some of the pros of hybrid publishing include the publisher handles the process. If you pay them, they will handle the entire publishing process. And some of those hybrid publishers will guarantee results in terms of distribution. They probably won't guarantee results in terms of sales because they don't control sales, but they can say that they'll get your book into certain booksellers. Some of the cons of hybrid publishing include it can be really expensive. I know writers who have paid tens of thousands of dollars to hybrid publishers to get their books published. You also run the risk of unscrupulous practices. So you could, if you don't do your research and you don't find a credible hybrid publisher, you could have somebody who takes advantage of you and takes your money and doesn't get you the results that you'd like. When you look at who should consider hybrid publishers, if money is not a concern, if you have tens of thousands of dollars to spend publishing your book, then sure, why not? Have somebody do the work for you. If you're willing to do a lot of research to make sure you find a credible company that will accomplish what you want them to accomplish, then maybe this is the right route for you. You should probably not do hybrid publishing if you have limited financial resources and you're uncertain about providers. So if you don't know that you found a great provider, and if you don't have the money to cover all of the costs, then you probably want to find a different route. That brings us to self-publishing. With self-publishing, you publish your book yourself, and you take care of the editing, the book covers, everything that's needed to get the book ready for market. You also take care of uploading your book to the book selling platforms. You can get help from experts if you need it. So you can find fellow members of your writers groups, you can find friends or colleagues who have gone through the process, or you can hire a freelancer, or you could take a class on how to do self-publishing. So you don't have to go completely alone on this. You can find experts to help you along the way. Some of the pros include things like you maintain control throughout the entire process. It is your book to publish, and you control it every step of the way. You can guarantee that your book gets published. There are platforms up there that will publish your book, provided you can get the formatting right on your book and there's nothing in your book that violates the standards of the booksellers. You can get your book published, and it is inexpensive. You can literally publish your book for free. You can pay a little bit more if you want to ensure that you get professional editing or book covers or some of the other services done, but you could also do it for free if you're going to handle those tasks by yourself. Some of the cons are it requires persistence. There are a lot of steps in the self-publishing process, and you have to go through the steps to make sure you're publishing a good quality book, and it requires the effort to go through those steps. Now let me cover who should consider self-publishing and who shouldn't. You should consider self-publishing if you're good at managing projects, because you will be managing the project of getting your book into market, and if you're willing to learn. You don't have to know everything there is to know about editing or book covers or formatting. You can learn that as you go. There are a lot of online classes that will help you learn that. There are YouTube videos, there are blog articles. So if you're willing to do your research and you're willing to learn, self-publishing might be the right fit for you. You shouldn't do self-publishing if you're easily overwhelmed. So if you feel like there are just too many tasks, there are too many things to keep track of, you might want to publish through a different route. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my experience with self-publishing. I am a self-published author. I have published 6 books, and I've self-published all 6 of them, and I loved it. It's just been a wonderful experience. My first book took me a little bit over a year to write, refine, and publish, but then I figured out how to do it more quickly. My next book took me about 6 months, and every book I've done after that, it's 2 to 3 months because I've got the process down. Once you learn the process, you can get through it fairly quickly, provided you can write your book. But the actual refining and publishing part of your book can go very smoothly, can go very quickly once you figure out how to do it. The result is I have 6 books in market. I've got more books coming. I absolutely love the process. I plan to continue doing it. And I encourage you, if you think you can manage a project effectively, to go down the self-publishing route. Here's some secrets I've learned when it comes to publishing. The first one is traditional and hybrid publishers don't guarantee sales. They might guarantee that they'll get your book in distribution, but they don't guarantee that your book is going to sell. So even if you land a deal with a traditional publisher, it doesn't mean you're going to make money off of that deal. Secret number 2 is self-publishing is easier than you might think. It really is as simple as uploading your book and filling out some of the fields on the book description, the book price, a few details, and you could have your book published. Once you get it written, of course. Writing takes some effort, but managing your book through the refining and the publishing process is surprisingly easy. And the third secret is it is easy to find support when you're self-publishing. You can find an online class that teaches you everything. You can watch YouTube videos like this that will show you how to do the steps in the process. You can do all of the research yourself with information that's readily available. When you're considering which method to use for your publishing, here are 4 criteria I recommend: the cost, the effort, the time, and the results. So with traditional publishing, there's very little cost. Hybrid publishing can be very expensive. Self-publishing, there can be very little cost. So on this one, I would give the cost criteria to traditional and self-publishing. In terms of effort, it does take a lot of effort to pitch your book to traditional publishers. So that could require a lot of letters, it could require phone calls, it could require you following up with many, many publishers before you find one who will take your book, if you ever find one who will take your book. Hybrid publishing takes a lot less effort, provided you find the hybrid publisher that's willing to do the work for you and they're credible. Self-publishing does take some effort, but again, you can find people to help you through the process. In terms of time, the one that takes the longest is probably traditional publishing, because there's that pitching and waiting and rejection cycle that you need to go through. Hybrid publishing can be very quick if you find a good hybrid publisher, and self-publishing can be very quick. As I've said, I've completed a book in 2 to 3 months knowing what the self-publishing process was. In terms of results, by results I mean, will your book get published? I would put traditional publishing as a yellow. I don't think it's a green, because there's a good chance you'll never get results with them. They may never accept your book. Hybrid publishing, you might get good results if you find a credible hybrid publisher. Self-publishing, you can get your book published, and you're in control of that book and its content through the entire process, so you are accountable for the results. You can control the results. Here are the action steps for this video. First of all, select the publishing method that's right for you, and then learn the success model. It is very easy to find people who will advise you. If you join a writer's group, if you reach out to people through social media, they'll advise you on, oh, here's an approach you should take if you're using each specific publishing method. I do have some bonus content for you on my website. If you go to my website, and I'll put a link in the description below, you can find a self-publishing checklist. So if you think self-publishing might be right for you, I invite you to go and download that checklist. It includes an overview of the process. It includes 3 pages of checklists. And I also threw in there some approved vendors that I like to use when I'm going through the self-publishing process. So that's it. Hopefully that helps you decide which publishing method is right for you. Again, if you want to see more videos like this, just hit that subscribe button and you'll see my new videos as they come out. And best wishes as you write and publish your book.